focused on what is that comfort that anybody can tap into. Many years ago, if you build it, they would come was sort of true. Now it's if you build it and promote it and hire an influencer and write about it and do these videos, then they will come. Thank you so much for coming by. My name is Tyler Rutherford. I am the Director of Business Operations for Gusto 54 Restaurant Group, which oversees, of course, Café ZUZU, where we are today. And I've been with the company for just over 9 years. You know, in thinking about the first day with Café ZUZU, it was a grand opening. So we were very excited to be taking over a iconic sort of space in Regent Park that was already acting as a community hub in so many different ways. And it was just excitement and energy to be able to sort of take that baton in a post-pandemic time and think about what an all-inclusive space in Regent Park can look like while still being a busy cafe and business. I think that being 2.5 years into being open now, all the things we wanted to happen of being this community hub, of being this, you know, inclusive space for people to come, whether you're working or using the ice cream window or coming in for date night, having it actualized and having the community accept us has been amazing, and that in itself is the reward that we're looking for. We're looking to really be part of this community more than anything. I think for me, recognizing when we're most contributing to the community and having the community accept us is when we hold specialized events, whether that is a chef pop-up or our, you know, sort of now famous Queer East Social. Having not only people coming from outside of Regent Park into the area, but having the community show up, sometimes in troves and lineups. You know, when we celebrated our second birthday earlier this year, there was a lineup of 120 people to get in for coffee. That in itself is every time we have a moment like that is really when I recognize that we've crossed that threshold and really being part of the community DNA. In 2025, this is the third season of our Queer East Social. Every year we have anywhere between 3 and 6 events, garnering anywhere between 150 to 300 people coming through. It started 3 years ago as just a one-off to celebrate Pride Month and to create another safe space in Regent Park for the queer and trans community. It was supposed to be this one-off, but because of community support and resharing and word of mouth, it became very clear that this was something that was missing from Regent Park and specifically Toronto East. And so the work began reaching out to other organizations, both inside and outside of Regent Park, to where now we have a number of sponsorships and larger corporate and organizing partners come in to be part of it because we do see the need and gap in Regent Park. I think it's really easy for restaurants, especially with multiple locations, to say one thing, whether it's part of community outreach or, you know, the charitable wing, and post it on, you know, their team member board. But we live and breathe what we talk about. You know, we have Gusto Gives Back, where we teach young kids how to cook and read nutrition labels. We build schools in Jamaica with our Jamaican concept. We provide tremendous relief to the homelessness population in Toronto, but we do them because we know that that's the right thing to do. And so when it became on the table to open Café ZUZU in Regent Park, we knew that this could be a permanent home for Gusto Gives Back, where we can do a tremendous amount of good. I've personally worked for a number of organizations who say one thing and maybe act another, and I understand those business priorities, but I think that, you know, I'm very much aligned with our founder and CEO, Gianna Zuccarini, in saying that we are the community. We are part of the community. We cannot possibly be successful if the community around us is not successful. There are so many things behind the scenes that keep us running. Most importantly is our people. Again, we have a number of different locations, and we joke, jokingly, that we expand businesses and maybe a business model and technology and what our ecosystem is, what our offering is, but in reality, we expand people. We expand culture, we expand the development of new careers. You know, during the pandemic, we had over 30 people start their own businesses, and that is in no small feat because of the mentorship that we try to provide our people. And so when we talk about what our most successful assets are in the businesses, it is our people operations. When I think about burnout, I'm certainly not shielded to it. I'm a human being like anybody else, and I think that working in hospitality can be taxing. You are juggling a number of pieces within the business, within your own team, and then the guests. I think that when we talk about expanding culture and what we do from a people operations side of things, that's actually the biggest answer. I think when we prioritize ourselves not by tasks, but by training and development, that allows us to be able to be involved in tasks and initiatives that require that attention, or bounce things off to somebody else and allow them a stretch assignment to be able to learn and grow and make mistakes. And if they make that mistake, great, what do we learn from it? As opposed to holding on to everything and having these impossible perfectionist standards. That can certainly be the goal, but how do you train everybody around you to have the same goal? You know, when I started with Gusto just over 9 years ago, my mandate was to support the expansion. We were 3 locations at the time. Now, including our partnership restaurants, we're 16. It's a pretty big jump in 9 years. And I was no stranger to project management and people operations and restaurant operations at large. But what most courses in school don't really teach you a lot about is the combination of 2 big pillars. One is the city, permitting, having those thoughtful conversations, licensing, what are the resources that are available? I have a number of acquaintances who have opened their own businesses not knowing what resources were available. And so their opening of their new business took 6 months longer than it should have. And then the other thing ultimately is the marketing side of things. Many years ago, if you build it, they would come was sort of true. Now it's if you build it and promote it and hire an influencer and write about it and do these videos, then they will come. And so all of those steps sort of that are PR adjacent or social media adjacent, or really all of those pieces that are strategic in communication rather than word of mouth, are almost half the business model now. It's funny, you know, we have our COO has been with us for 29 years. Most of our GMs at any of our locations have been with us more than 10 years. Longevity sort of is the game plan here. Again, then that feeds into the people expansion and the culture and what we're building. But as of last month, we now have 2 Gusto babies in our population. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to hire them until they're 18, but we're gonna try our best. Keep it in the family, it's the Italian roots. Yeah. There's never been a more 2025 question than, did you design the vibe? And listen, when we talk about if you build it, do these 25 things and they will come, vibe is one of them. The vibe in the room and the atmosphere. And so, we partnered with somebody we've worked with a handful of times, Ali, with Future Studio Design. And we came into this space really wanting it to feel warm and transporting to 1950s Italy without being pretentious, without being too clean cut. And so as you look around and see these soft touches and these custom light fixtures, everything sort of has a small nod to it. We are called Café ZUZU because our founder's last name is Zuccherini. Her father, Giacomo Zuccherini, brought the first Italian espresso machine to Canada in 1954, hence Gusto 54. When you walk in the front of the building, there's black and white photos in the 1950s and 60s of Giacomo Zuccherini being at a cafe, the first Italian espresso machine in Toronto. And that's exciting to us. And so we want to create this transporting environment with these soft touches and these sort of thoughtful designs. Surprised. I think that when you go into most newer cafes, you are finding one of 2 things. You're finding that really cool, independent, antique feeling cafe with really great coffee, I hope. Or you find the modern approach, which is steel and marble and concrete. Our goal is to sort of straddle these two spaces and think about, in 1954 to 1965, maybe, how is your cool Nona designing a cafe space? And as you look around, you'll find found pieces from antique shops. You'll also find custom pieces. You'll also find off-the-shelf pieces. It is eclectic without feeling busy. And so I think people would be surprised to walk in and see the immediate sense of warmth and hospitality. We're fortunate enough to have one of the only walk-up windows in the city that's licensed, and we decided to make an ice cream window. Much like the space was before we took it over, this ice cream window is kind of part of the fabric of Regent Park. It's sort of always been there since this building was built, and we activated the window to be named Scoops. Of course, playful, many rotating flavors. There's about 10 rotating flavors, waffle cone sprinkles, the whole 9 yards. But again, like the whole menu, it is comfort. It is nostalgia. It is that birthday cake flavor. It is that beautiful chocolate flavor. We don't need to reinvent what ice cream is for the community to really enjoy the opportunity to cool down. Because Café ZUZU has something for everyone, we've really focused on what is that comfort that anybody can tap into. And so whether that is that morning coffee through your iced coffee or your Italian beautiful coffee, or some of our seasonal beverages that certainly rival some of the bigger chains in the city, we have something for everyone. One of my favorite daytime eats here in the cafe space is our sour cherry oatmeal cookie. It is phenomenal. We use a pecan brittle instead of refined sugar to sweeten the cookie. It's remarkable. We make our own sourdough English muffins for our breakfast sandwich. That is arguably one of the best breakfast sandwiches in the city. And when we think about the dining space, it is that casual comfort. It's that red sauce joint that maybe you grew up with in some capacity. It is mozzarella sticks. It's a beautiful sopressata panzerotti. It is beautiful handmade pasta. All of that at an affordable price where anybody can enjoy. And so I think really when we think about comfort and warmth and that cool Nona's place, Café ZUZU is the answer. I think people underestimate what Café ZUZU is. We are in the business of being open. And so whether that is the cafe opening its doors at 8 a.m. every day, the dining room, our event series, both in-house and external, our ice cream window, being able to order online and all these different things, we sort of have something for everyone. And so if you do not live in Regent Park, this is sort of the call out to come check us out, see the warm hospitality that exists here as one of the very few full service restaurants in the area. It's a beautiful neighborhood. Come check out the area, grab a coffee with us, then come back for dinner.